Today we have another type comparison to make. This time we're going to be typing Olivia Rodrigo. And the typology community in general seems to type her as an ESFJ. Most websites you see online will have her listed that way. And we're going to take a look at why they list her that way. What are the arguments that they have in favor of this typing for her? So for example, on getpersonality.com, you see here the reasoning for the typing is Olivia is extremely friendly and brings a pleasant aura wherever she goes. She has often been spotted lining the aisles, singing or humming the latest quick numbers, spreading her infectious vibes of happiness to everyone. So she's good vibes all around. She's very happy. She's very joyous. This is similar to what is said here on knowyourarchetypes.com. It says Olivia Rodriguez, as an ESFJ, exhibits various general personality traits associated with this type. ESFJs are known for their warmth, empathy, and a strong sense of duty. They thrive in social settings, enjoying connections with others, and place a high value in harmonious relationships. Olivia's ability to express her emotions through her music and connect with her audience on an emotional level aligns with the feeling-oriented nature of ESFJs. Okay, so what are we seeing in common here? What we're seeing is that Olivia, and these are probably true, she's very emotional, she's very empathetic, she's joyful, and she's very generous. And these are attributes which categorically are often attributed to an FE dominant type in these systems. However, there's a lot of problems with this description. First of all, by necessity, that implies the opposite, that FI users are not empathetic, not generous, not kind, which is simply not the case.
People tend to see unguardedness or positivity and receptiveness to the audience as FE traits, but they're just unguarded or open or tender-hearted traits that both FE and FI people can have.
Yeah.
At the same time, what we found out in our system is that FE can also be tough-minded, extremely so. Directive or guarded FE uses anger to create an impact, to create change, to stir people in a certain direction, to influence people, to push them to do something. So directive FE can be extremely tough-minded, and it can come across as the most loud and aggressive function because it channels all that anger and aggression and uses it as a tool to get what they want, whether it's to influence people or to stir people up for a cause, or to inspire people for the purpose of changing the other person or the audience and making it grow or making it move in a certain way.
Yes, which brings us to the real definition of FE, which is, first of all, FE is a JE function. As a JE function, it's focused on ordering or organizing the outer world towards a certain aim. And so FE in particular wants to kind of change and transform the world towards some vision of its own personal values. And it can do that by the use of gentleness or by the use of force. A lot of militant people are FE users, and they use a lot of strong rhetoric to get their point across, like in politics, for example. And so they're not necessarily tender-hearted. So we have to distinguish these two things. Being agreeable and polite and tender-hearted is a separate dimension from whether or not you have FE or FI. And in the case of Olivia Rodrigo, she has the kindness and politeness element, yes, but we do not see that other more yang energy of FE, which is actually a JE function, and JE functions are very militant and organization-based. And we can demonstrate this very clearly by putting her next to somebody who I think everybody in the typology community agrees is an FE user, and that would be Oprah Winfrey.
Vision board anymore because I am a powerful manifester, and I know that, and I know how to do it without physically putting it on a board. I know how. You know, you have to. You want to know how you have to meet the vibration. You can't be above or below it. It's just what I was talking about: negative energy, positive energy. In order to draw the thing to you that you want to come.
So you have to meet the vibration. She's giving you instructions. She's telling you what to do.
So in order for me to be on your vision board, you must have put it there and then you let it go.
Yes.
And then you weren't thinking about it every day. Because you can't, it doesn't come to you that way.
Doesn't come to you that
and
way.
Then you have to put it and then you have to meet that vibration. You have to prepare yourself to be there.
So this is like a life coacher sort of energy. Now, so people think that, yes, she moves the audience through her coaching, through her guidance. But some people say, well, I think people like Olivia Rodrigo also move the audience through her energy and emotion and joy. But those are two different kinds of movement of the audience. You can affect the audience through your expression of yourself. FI users often do that because they are expressive and radiant, and that radiant energy has an influence on people, but the influence is spontaneous. The influence is they're just being themselves, but in them being themselves, other people benefit from that energy, benefit from that whatever it is that they're putting out into the world. But that's different from coming at something with a target, an aim that you want to accomplish, and then making that change in your interlocutor be exactly what you want it to be, which is like the life coach, which is like the guide, the mentor. That's a different kind of influence. It's a more measured, intentional influence. And Oprah Winfrey has this, whereas Olivia does not have it at all. Okay, so now in contrast, here is Olivia Rodrigo. We're going to see how her energy compares to Oprah.
Huge fan, so it's an honor to be here.
Oh,
you actually, I met you
Casual
maybe 3
hands.
years. You wouldn't have remembered. It was so long ago. And you gave her a hug. And
Not a very
bragging rights for
serious
the rest of her
energy.
life. She loves you so much.
Oh my God.
So she
Playful.
sends her regards, and
She's
playful.
animated.
It's very embarrassing.
She has kind of a childlike energy. She's like looking around, toggling a lot.
Yeah.
Bouncing. She has a lot of bubbling energy.
Did you need to follow him? Like,
Yeah.
unfollow him. I went and I grabbed my phone.
Like there.
Shoot, oh my God.
Right.
Yeah.
I went to open the Instagram app.
Very
and I
animated,
opened the app, my phone died.
spunky.
And I'm like, yeah.
Right, and her emotional expressions are very spontaneous, as you can see. They're not measured. They're not tailored to create an impact. They just are. They're leaking out of her. They're radiating out. And people find that compelling. They find it contagious. But it doesn't have a purpose itself. It's not done with a specified aim other than just Olivia being herself.
Exactly. And the being yourself is very often much more of a symptomatic of FI instead of FE. And that's exactly what we see of her Vultology. If you see, for example, here, the snarling tension going up towards the lips, the asymmetry, yeah, you can see there the four-point pulling, sassiness, and the taut eye area, the connection to the environment. She is an SEFI according to her Veritology and her psychology. Okay, so now let's look at these two next to each other side by side, and the difference is just going to amplify even more. So here you see Oprah being very coordinated and very serious in her energy because she's trying to make an impact on the audience, trying to give you advice. And here you see the bubbling momentum and the chaos and the spontaneity of Olivia has very different energy. One is a conductor with a very measured persona, and one is a reviser with a very free-spirited persona, very childlike persona.
And a very candid persona.
And so in the Vultology, but also in the psychology, we see that Olivia is a solid SEFI with a silly or unguarded and agreeable emotional attitude. And I actually think that if you put aside the idea that FE has to be agreeableness and there's no other way, then even in the Myers-Briggs system, in some variants of it, she would be an ESFP. Because if you see what she says, for example, in her lyrics and her expressions, we see all the signs of SE and also of FI, individualism, honesty, but also this real-time focus, this dynamic focus on life experiences.
The presence, the visceral seeking of experiences and indulgence in emotions is very SE plus FI.
Exactly. So we see, for example, some of that expressed in this song, her song, Brutal. She says, and I'm so caught up in the news of who likes me and who hates me, and I'm so tired that I might quit my job and start a new life. So very clearly there you can see that there's a consumption in the real-time situation of what's happening. And there's also a level of flightiness, of free-spirited movement. I want to switch to a different job. You know, this kind of untetheredness is very common in PE users.
Right. There's also the refresh factor of PE, just quit my job, start a new life, like it's nothing.
Yeah. And in this other song here, you see, it says, I see everyone getting all the things I want and I'm happy for them. But then again, I'm not. Just cool vintage clothes and vacation photos. I can't stand it. Oh God, I sound crazy. So there's a lot of elements here, and her songs have this a lot. So on one side, she's saying she's happy for them, but then again, she's not. So there's this contradiction, this wishy-washiness. So she's swayed by her emotions one way and then another way. And this is, in some ways, part of coming of age and being a teenager, but it's also very revisor, and specifically high FI females have this tendency to be very emotionally turbulent and express that to you and just pour their heart out in a very vulnerable, honest way. This is a very common motif. And then that's what people radiate with, the fact that she is just being frank and she's just telling you all the messiness that she's experiencing. But there's no FE movement of you. She's just being herself, and people really love her for that honesty.
Right. She's not trying to teach anybody a lesson from her emotional experiences. She's just being handedly expressive.
So these traits would even fit with the Myers-Briggs version of an ESFP if we just eliminate the idea that only FE can be harmony seeking. And so on the whole, Olivia Rodrigo is actually much more similar to someone like Maddie Lindemann, who is typed as an SEFI, generally speaking, in the Myers-Briggs community. And I want to show you what she looks like next to Maddie to compare against the one we saw with Oprah. So you can see here, both of them are SEFIs with FI development, and they both have this combination of PE, casual energy, but also some meticulousness of the hands, a little bit of poise, a little bit of the elbows are tucked in a little bit. These are practically the same shade. The only difference is that one is unseelie and one is seelie. One is guarded and the other is unguarded in their emotional attitude.
And you can see this in their vibes. So Maggie on the left comes across as edgier, darker in her style, and she's a bit more bratty, while Olivia comes across as the girl next door, and she's very
nice girl, yeah,
positive, the nice girl, exactly. Nevertheless, their energies and gestures and even personalities are very similar. If you agree or disagree, feel free to let us know in the comments. And if you have any other suggestions, please make them. We do take them into account. And if you'd like to learn what your type is, please hop onto Vultology.com and use the coupon code Olivia to get 20% off your orders.
We put a lot of time and energy, hours into our analysis of you, much more than what we are doing in this brief introduction here. And you will get a full report with all the signals that you display and the level of strength of each of your signals to justify why we type you the way we do. And if you'd like to join our practitioner program where you can learn our methodology of typing, you can sign up to that class at the links in the description. All right, guys, catch you guys in the next one.
See you in the next one.